What in the hell is this? Yeah, I might have just wasted a lot of time. Hey everybody, Kyle here with Spicer Designs. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's gonna be a smorgasbord of all kinds of different stuff, but we're gonna be heading back to the shop here in just a couple of minutes. I'm gonna continue working on the tires, but before I can go any further on the spicy dump, I have to get my cold saw kind of dialed in so I don't destroy my shop. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute, but first I need to do a couple things here. This is the equipment barn up by the house. You see the house right over there. Needs lots of work. I've been working on it off camera. But over here in my little makeshift wood yard, there's quite a drop off right here. Eventually I'm gonna be putting in a nice block retaining wall, and I'm gonna have a flat area right here that's actually gonna be a dog run. You'll see the previous homeowner, I'm not sure exactly who did it, but there's already a doggy door right here. Probably needs a little bit of work. Looks like shit, really. So I'll get that fixed up, but that's really a good spot. They'll be able to come out here, kind of run around, and we'll utilize this when we're traveling. My gutters are absolutely shot, but down here, I've got like a hole. I don't know what's living in there, but that little burrow goes completely underneath the slab of concrete inside of this barn. There's no cracks or nothing, but eventually when I redo all this retaining wall area, I need to pack that with some stone or concrete, something. Anyways, I have a chipmunk issue over here. I've been seeing them running around. I tried shooting them with the air rifle, but apparently I need to re-sight it in because I kept missing. And you can see right here too, it looks like Critter's been getting underneath there. I'm pretty sure that's that chipmunk. There he is. So I tried sicking Bruno on him, and he was smelling around, but he didn't catch him. He likes just lounging around here in the barn, don't you? So I'm gonna need a bucket and some water. And we're gonna need some sunflower seeds. These are my favorite, reduced sodium, jumbo. I'm sure you guys already know this trap for chipmunks. It works really well. I'm just gonna fill that up with water. We'll fill this up like 3/4 of the way. All right, we gotta go pet our buddy real quick. You good kitty kitty. Now we're gonna take my favorite sunflower seeds. What was that? I don't know what the hell that was. And we're going to sprinkle them across the top of the water until it covers all the water. That way it looks like a flat surface that they can walk on. Hope that dozer doesn't get into these because I know he will. I think I'm gonna set it over there. That's where I saw those chipmunks playing around. I'm gonna put it right by those logs. I'm gonna eat shit on these rocks. Yeah, oh God. It gives them a nice platform. They can just dive right in there, and I'll put some sunflower seeds right there. I'll put a couple right here. Throw a couple more in there. Put a little pile right here. Someone took a dump right on my little trail. Did you poop over there? You poop in the grass, okay, dog? Poop in the grass. There's the little guy. Little shooter just soaking up some sun. Showing us his goods. He's a good little guy. Aren't you, buddy? Yes, you are. I'll show you guys another project I've been working on. This has been quite a doozy. So we have a timber frame cabin. It was built like in '05, and I don't think there's been any maintenance done to it since. We've only owned this place for 3 years. And I've been trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to tackle this. I did call a company out. It was just one Amish guy. And I told him what I needed to do. This is something that he does for a living. He was gonna get me a quote, and I never heard back from him. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm dealing with on a regular basis. That's pretty much the reason why I do everything myself. You can see right here, all the sealer is kind of basically starting to fail and wear off. The wood is actually still in really good condition. So there's no issue here, nothing's rotting out. But I've got, you know, stuff like this that I just want to sand it out, clean it up. And I have been working on it all up there. You can see how it's kind of nice and shiny and clean and sanded. Sanded all of that down with a palm sander and put 3 coats of sealer on it. So I do still have to come back and fill some of these checks. Now if the checks are going downhill, technically you don't have to because the water can drain out. But some of these real big checks in the logs, I'm still gonna come back and fill them. But I mean, this looks amazing now. This is just perfect. I had to go back and repair some of the chinking in a couple spots too. The window trim I also replaced, so this was completely failing around the window. And I actually did have a little bit of rot up here. I had to put a small little replacement piece in there because it was rotted out. And I also had some custom metal trim made so that I could basically divert water so it's not sitting on the top of that LP smart side trim. That's what you're technically supposed to do. On the top of this trim where it goes vertical, I also have a 1/2 inch where it turns in. So I cut that with an oscillating tool, like a slot, filled it with caulk, and then shoved it in there. And then I put those 3 sheet metal screws in there. So this should last a long time. It looks really nice and clean. And I still have to go back and put another coat of paint over this to fix all of my color match caulk where I filled in the screw holes. But I used the pocket jig on this so all these joints are nice and tight. And I did the same thing on this window. It is all nicely caulked, and I have new chinking all merged into it real nice. So yeah, you've got this nice new stain, a spider, and this, which is obviously weathered. This is probably going to be a good couple month project that I'm just working on off camera. No one wants to watch me sand and seal logs. I don't even want to do it personally, but I am. It's okay, easy, my good boy. Yes, you are. All right, enough fiddle farting around. It's time to head out to the shop. We're going to do a little bit more work on the spicy dump right after I take the spicy dump. And then we need to work on that saw. You'll see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. It needs to be addressed. Here it is. This is the Evolution, I think it's a 14-inch chop saw. Hold on. S355 MCS 14-inch metal cutting mitering chop saw. Ooh, does everything. I actually really love this saw. It makes super clean cuts, very precise, and it's a mitering chop saw, so you can actually go ahead and change your angles, which is really nice. What am I hitting? Oh, yeah, another thing I need to address. So let me just show you what's going on here. For one, I can show you a real quick issue. When I'm turning this, and keep in mind, this has nothing to do with the saw. This has to do with the platform that I'm using it on, this Harbor Freight 42-inch tool chest. When I turn it, this back section right here, it's hitting that little back part of the tool chest. So what I need to do is basically raise this slightly so it's even with this lip here, because you can see it sticks up about 5/8 of an inch. The other big thing to keep in mind with these types of saws is they don't have metal dust or grindings like a normal abrasive blade. These throw out little metal chips. Can I get my finger in that hole? I'm sure gonna try. That is what you get right there, but just a bunch of small little metal chips. And these, they blow everywhere like confetti. And as much as I love confetti, you don't want it in this situation. So now that I have this nice new tongue and groove wall, I don't want to destroy it. So I need to create some kind of a backstop for this thing, something that can catch and harness all those chips, but also be somewhat easy to clean. So the first step of this process is going to be just seeing exactly what happens when I make a cut, where all those chips are directed to, how they deflect, and that way I can get a better idea of exactly how I need to place this backstop or guard or containment, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to do is set up a slow-mo camera. We're going to make a cut and see exactly what happens here. Oh, that'll do. I should just leave that there and call it good. There's a much better idea of all those little metal chips. See them all over underneath. I don't have an exact plan yet, so this might be a bit of a process. All right, let's get some steel in here and make a cut. Very important, even more important. All right, not as action-packed as I thought. Of course, really nice, clean cut, nice and square. Evolution is not sponsoring this video, but I do work with them. I'll have some links down in the description. I did hear that my discount code wasn't working, so I'll have to check into that. Hopefully I can have that fixed by the time I post this video. But they make really good stuff. I'm sure you've all heard of Evolution before. They also sent me a while back this really nice mag drill, and they sell all the bits too. I mean, check these things out. Yeah, that's some serious business right there. So they've got more than just saws. And I've yet to try this thing out still. I had some ideas for it and then they ended up changing and I never used it, but I will definitely use this thing in the future at some point. Now for the most part, I pretty much saw all the chips kind of going in this compartment where they're designed to go. And you can see as you bring the saw down and right where you make contact somewhere in this section, I mean, most of those chips are going to shoot straight back into that little catch right there. And then you can see there's a little hole in the bottom. You can see that? Huh. So maybe I do something underneath here. I think that might be the move, is to make some kind of a compartment that will follow this as I rotate it. So it'll have somewhat of a radius going across, and then as that thing moves, it'll kind of contain it, and then I can get in there and clean. But I think I still need to have some kind of like a backdrop on this, because you're gonna have those random chips that just kind of shoot off wherever they want. So I'm gonna do a little brainstorming. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna work on getting another one of these tires on these split wheels. Lots of controversy in the comments. I'm not gonna bore you with any more tire work. I spent, 30 minutes of a video doing that. I had a lot of comments saying I should have just taken them to a tire shop. Taking them to a tire shop doesn't exactly make good videos, and what I do for a living is make videos. So it makes more sense for me to make a video about me struggling, and it was a struggle. And I don't think it was very uncommon for when I saw in the comments people struggling with small tires and wheels for tractors and ATVs. They're a pain in the ass. All right, I'm gonna get this thing knocked out real quick and we'll jump back on this saw and figure something out. I wanna just go over this real quick because I feel like I need to explain myself. I had a lot of people questioning whether I had a brain or not. What you guys told me in the comments was that I should have used soapy water. I am well aware of the soapy water trick. I have changed more tires than just this. I just didn't have any out here. So what I did, no, this is not urine. Actually, this might be urine. Did I put that bottle somewhere else? All right, no, this was the right bottle. This is soapy water. I now have some. I drilled a little hole in the top and I've just been, squirting it. Squirting. I didn't trim anything on this tire. I put the tube in, I forced it in. It's a pain, but I know that I can get it to stretch around that rim now, so I got that done. You can clearly see I've still got at least a good inch for this thing to meet the face of that rim of the tire, or that, that lip. And I don't know if it'll do it. I'm gonna use some soapy water and basically kind of hit it all around there and hit it all around there. And we're gonna fill it up and see if we can seat it. If we can, you were right, I was wrong. I am an idiot. I hope that I was wrong by trimming that tire back. Not something I wanted to do. I just felt like I had to. It just wasn't fitting. I do have one problem right off the bat though. My valve stem's coming in at a straight up hard angle. Now we did get some movement. It moved on this, but the other side, it did not move. It's pretty much in the same spot. So now that I've got some movement out of it, I can't get this thing to straighten back out. These small tires and wheels, they just suck. End of story. I'm sure if I took it to a tire shop, they can work their magic. I've got a pretty good idea of what I'm gonna do. I know that makes no sense to you, and to be honest, it makes no sense to me either. First thing in the morning, I'm going to start designing that on flash cut. We'll get it cut out on the Boss table. I called Boss last week about the tips for the scribe because I bent it, you can see clearly. Immediately they shipped out 2 of them to me. I purchased them right on it. I called, they answered, they got me the parts, and I'm back in action. So I got a spare in case it happens again. Hopefully it does not. And a little update on the tires and wheels. I've got them all on the rims. I'm waiting to install them onto the spicy dump until I get all the painting done back here. Otherwise, I'll be just getting them all destroyed. That one's just kind of pushed on. What I've learned, and it's just like anything, when you do something for the first time, it usually sucks and it takes forever. The second time, it's a little bit faster. Third time, fourth time, you're cruising. And that's exactly what happened. So once I kind of got a rhythm and got it figured out, you guys were right. I did not need to trim the rubber off the inside bead of that tire. I was able to get it lubed up and it slid on there after I pumped it full of air. I was just worried it wasn't going to go. It was extremely tight. The other thing was, a lot of you guys had some good comments about some kind of a powder that I could use for the tube. I was able to just make it work. I don't have that powder right now. Using the grease to lube things up initially, that was a bad idea because the grease got all over everything. It was super slippery. It just made it really hard to work. So yes, the soapy water worked much better. I should have just went and got that from the get-go, but I didn't. But they turned out pretty good. I like them. And they are all going in the right direction. Anyways, it is 8:15. The girls should be getting home anytime from softball, so I'm gonna go hang out with them for a little bit, and we'll jump back on this first thing in the morning. Let's see here. Yeah! Whoop. A little too much power there. It is the next day and the last day that I have to work on this. Again, I've been strapped for time lately. That's the wrong piece. Got a piece of wood already cut out for all the dimensions to fit on top of that Harbor Freight tool cart. And I have a little piece of scrap here. I don't know about you guys, but I have a really hard time getting rid of little pieces of scrap like this because I know I could use it for something. It's not good. It's a problem. So we'll set this right here with all the other crap. I have a little project coming here soon. I wouldn't say it's little. It's probably gonna be like a $5,000 project when it's all said and done. But it's gonna be a storage solution for all my overflow stuff. I try not to hang on to crap that I just will never use, but there's a lot of little things like scrap lumber, you know, stuff for future projects that I just wanna get out of the way, shipping materials. You'll see when we get to it, but that's something to look forward to. Might be something that you wanna do as well. Yeah. Oh man, this thing's got some girth to it. Telling you what. This better fit. Are you shitting me right now? How is this thing out of square? Can't trust Home Depot. Well, I didn't have Home Depot cut this. I cut it, but it was one of those 2x4 handy panels and 5/8 strong. How did that happen? Oh, I swear, Home Depot, they're the biggest turds. They can't even cut their boards right. Shame on me for not checking it after I cut it. I'm gonna run back up to the house, recut it, and then we'll start on this metal work. About time. Gotta flush the toilet 3 times when you take a shit. It's always nice when you put a vent on your plumbing. I am really liking this Airzilla hose reel. Not sponsored, I bought that on Amazon. I'll leave a link for that pinned in the comments. I really like how adjustable it is and that it's a 50-foot hose with a smaller diameter reel. It's not gigantic. I'm not trying to sell you. I like to tell you about things that have been working well for me. Well, that fit a little bit nicer. If it fits, it ships. That's perfect height though. So you can see this gives me kind of the perfect height. It's slightly above, just barely, but the steel will come right over that and it'll have a little bit of an overhang. So you won't see any of that. Ah, damn it. If you didn't look so good, I'd be mad at you. Boss, really badass table. We are partnered up with Boss. This is the Pro 8 with water height control. This is a 4x8 table. It's slightly larger than that, so you can fit a 4x8 sheet on there. You can see kind of how a 4x8 sheet fits. Plenty of room here, plenty of room over there. And I was pronouncing Kalmar, Iowa incorrectly. It's Kalmar. All right, main power, driver power, control power. And someone said they spelled something wrong here. Oh, controller. There's supposed to be 2 ends. Oh, what the hell? All right, I'm gonna spend some time on Flash Cut, get all of the designs set up so I can get these things cut, and we'll start putting this thing together. I need to get this done today. I'm all done with the design, at least the first part of it. Right now, what I wanna do, even though I'm not using it for this particular piece, I wanna go ahead and replace the bent tip on that air scribe. That seems like it got tighter. I'm a little confused. Oh. That's great, I broke it. So I tried reading something online. Son of a Idiot, I probably gotta pull it apart up here or something. Now it's really broken, so I'll have to reach out to Boss and get some more parts. Well, I just looked at it again, and go figure, Boss has a video on exactly how to do this, which I should have watched. And I was nowhere even close, so you have to grab this with a 7/16 wrench and a 9/16 wrench. And then you loosen this up. Basically, you unscrew this. All the guts come out. Look at that. I have to try to bend this tip back. I'm gonna have to pull this off. Now I gotta try to hammer that tip out of there. Just need to get a little punch. There is the new one. There's the old one. O-rings on here I gotta take off. Put them on the new one. And drop this back in. Well, I'll see how much that little collar affects me. If it still works, then screw it, I'll leave it alone. Super easy to change if I would have just watched the video that Boss already made. Anyways, let's cut. Love that part. Get some water in this thing. When people ask what the deal with the water was, for one, it really keeps the smoke down a lot. The water kind of dissipates it, and for working with, you know, thinner sheet metal, it helps keep it cool so it doesn't warp when you're cutting it. All right, just finished up a dry run. Looks good. We're ready to cut. Let's do it. Yes, beautiful. I'm gonna clean up the dross real quick. There's really not much. Put me in the face. Now, I don't have a brake large enough to bend this, so this is gonna be a little bit of a hillbilly setup here. I'm gonna try to clamp down and then lift it. I thought my little baby clamps. No idea how this is gonna go. The whole table's moving.
He's dicking around with something here. Let me get this thing planted to the floor. I can't wait to get a fixture table. I can't wait.
I think that's about all I'm gonna get out of it. I knew I'd be able to use this piece of wood for something. It's actually working great. That looks pretty damn good. Always save your scraps. You can see I got a nice little bend there. Damn it, that thing is gonna piss me off. Killing the air, unplugging you. And then the only way I was able to do that is by cutting these relief cuts. So I've got like a 4-inch, half-inch, 4-inch, half-inch, 4-inch, half-inch, all the way down. I have to go back and fill this with weld and then kind of grind it all smooth. So I'm gonna do that right now. A 48-inch press brake would be amazing, but they are so damn expensive. Doing this, where you cut the relief cuts and then bend it and weld it, it sucks. I don't like it one bit. All right, shuffle everything around. Oh yeah, I like that. So now we've got a little bit deeper of a cabinet, even though some of it's just straight up 14 gauge overhang. But there's really not going to be any weight back there. It's just, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? So you can see why I put that bull nose on the front of it because I wanted it to cover basically the face of that wood. It did warp on me a little bit, but that's gonna get bolted down, so it'll be all right. There's a little tiny gap right there. You could barely see in there, so I'm not too worried about that. And then you can see we got a little bit of an overhang on the back. I am gonna make some bump stops for this cabinet so it doesn't run into my nice flat black sheet metal, and for the ultimate welding cart. I'll do that at a later date. But yeah, all the weight of this thing is gonna sit right here. Everything else just kind of overhangs. So the idea is I'll use these mounting holes here, 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 and there. And then basically I'll drill through the steel, through the wood, through the top of the cabinet, pull this drawer out, and then I'll sandwich everything together so everything stays in place nicely. Yeah, there's a little bit of a cup in it. This was the first step, so now I can swing this thing around. It's not getting caught on that back lip. I like it. And I'm not gonna paint this. I'm gonna leave it just like this. If I paint it, all those hot little wood chips are gonna melt their way into the paint and I won't be able to wipe it off clean. Maybe I can, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave this hot rolled mild steel look to it, call it good. Where's my stick rule at? Damn it! Oh, there it is. Something like that. So I think this is about where I wanna be. We'll go 1.25 inches. And this is more than likely never gonna be that far back. I don't know why it would ever be that far back. That'll do everything I need it to do. See, that's gonna mess with my next piece. 6 3/4, 8. So here's what I just designed on Flash Cut. Drawn lines, drawn circles. You can trim things, move things, duplicate things. It's a breeze. Get this damn thing on my stupid little welding cap. So like I mentioned in my last video, if you've ever been intimidated by CAD, but you've wanted to get into CNC plasma cutting, I highly recommend Boss Tables because they're using Flash Cut with a lot of their tables, even down to their entry-level tables. Takes a lot of the stressful part out of it. Beautiful. I was worried about that one. This might be the nicest thing I've ever, well, I don't even own it actually. It's pretty badass though. If something went south with me and Boss, probably gonna be buying this table off them. There's just no way it's leaving this shop. See, it's nice with those curved slats. It'll hold a lot of things in place. Like it was touching here and over here, where if the slats were straight, it could have potentially fallen right through just like that. So that is kind of the point of those slats being curved, and it does work. There's very little dross on here. I'll get them cleaned up and we'll start forming them. Looking like something, I just don't know what. This radius piece here is the bottom, and this is basically going to form with that curve right there. So I just have to form this around, then these 90s should end up, you know, right in there somewhere. And I made it so it'd be slightly smaller, which it looks like it is. That is good. I want to get this piece built before dinner. I have one more piece I want to build before this video's over. Also, since I'm such a salesman, I bought this Knox welding jacket. I really like it. And I've been using these Defiant welding gloves for a while now. Really like these too. These are technically TIG welding gloves, but I use them for MIG. I mean, you just gotta be smart about what you're grabbing. But I'll leave Amazon links for this stuff too. You know, you gotta pay the bills. It's 14 gauge, how hard can it be? I don't know. This is what I should do, right? You got me, you gave me something there. You gave me something to work with. I was having some issues with my tack welds. They were like balling up on me. I think maybe it's because I'm using straight argon instead of mixed gas. I can't imagine that's it. I tried doing a couple little test runs. I was able to get a couple of decent looking passes right there just for testing, but they're just bubbled up real high. I gotta mess around with the settings on that thing a little bit more. I think I'm gonna be making a switch anyway to a much better brand. Here this thing is, you can see I just ground down my tacks because they looked like dookie. I mean, that looks like dookie too, but you won't really see any of that. So it's basically just a little pan. See, I was gonna weld this right to the top of that and there was gonna be no bottom. And I thought, why not make it removable? But the whole thing is it's gotta fit in here. It's gonna be really tight. Oh man, just fits. I might weld a couple standoffs to the bench top to kind of like a placeholder for this tray. I don't want it to just be like loose back there. So now that I know I can get this in there, that is good. My thought, which you'll see in a second, and this thing looks kind of weird, it's gonna go like that. And all it's gonna do is be kind of like a lip so that the chips don't go in and come back around and shoot back out. It'll get caught up in here and then stay in the tray. I don't know if it'll work or not. That was the thought behind it. I'm gonna get it tacked on and we'll see what happens. I really think that argon is affecting these welds because they're looking like doo-doo. All right. Oh yeah. The idea is that as this thing's cutting, it's gonna get caught in this little space here, drop down in that hole, which would then get caught in our little catch can right here. And this would work all the way in the closest position, and it would work in the furthest position. That was the idea. Ideally, I wanna keep it closer because I don't wanna have this gap there. I wanna do something else right here because there's gonna be stuff that's deflecting out. So I kinda wanna make something that attaches to this, kind of like another little backstop that would also direct any shavings back into this can. I'm not gonna mount anything yet. This is, of course, gonna stay removable. I'm gonna jump back on flash cut and cut more pieces for this. I wanna make something for back here. All right, I have my little design done. This took about maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Like I said, flash cut's so easy. Doesn't look like anything at all, but once I put a couple of bends and breaks in there, it should look different. This should be the last cut for this little project. Here we go, meow. Cruising. Woo! Yippee-ki-yay, mother. What in the hell is this? I already confused myself. Not surprised. Here we go. We're gonna have to remove some fingers too for this one. It's a little overbent, that's all right. We're getting somewhere. All we gotta do is bend this one, which when I close them, it should give me a 45. Essentially, that's making a 45 right there. I do like this brake. I just need to mount it to the concrete, but again, it's not staying right here, and I need to fix that foot lock because it's not good. Please work. It's gonna hit. Well, at least it got us started. Well, we're gonna give her a test run because I need to cut this piece of square tube. Well, we'll be able to see if that thing catches anything. Here we go. Hey, we got a lot of chips in there. We also have a lot of chips all over here. Before we do our last test, we're gonna clean all this up. Well, I'm gonna clean all this up so we can see where it all goes. I got it. Still a pain, but this is kind of what it looks like. You can see basically this back section is kind of a catch So all those chips will hit, roll down, hit this 45, and then fall into our little catch can. This was by design. Right here, this comes over and it stops a little bit short of that corner. You can see the corner is a little bit further, and this is back like 1/4 of an inch. You'll see why in a second. Basically, I need there to be a gap. I already got my holes drilled. Let's mount this thing up. I have no idea if this thing's gonna work. I mean, it's gotta help. You can use a fender washer, so I got a little extra support. And I did thread the holes on this. I already drilled them. I do want to have a backer nut because that's like a cast. You got a couple of nylon nuts. Brought a knife to a gunfight here. Okay, let's look at this contraption here. So we've got our little catch can tray, which eventually, you know, I said I'll make some little guides for it to sit in. And then we've got our little shield back here. I was trying to match the line on the saw, make it look, you know, nice and sleek. And then I have a notch right here. You'll see why. When I go to move this to cut at a 45, that is right where it stops. So it kind of fits around this part right here. That way I can get the maximum amount of shielding as I could. And then let me just go all the way around this way. Yeah, nothing's even close over here. I gotta wind that cord over the top. I'm actually gonna take the cord through here so it's out of the way, but you can see it's just right behind there, and when it comes down, ooh, looks like I'm hitting that. I did not know that. I thought I was gonna be clear of that. But you can see that little gap down there now. That's what I was talking about. There's like a 1/4 inch gap, and that's just enough to let it get down into that little catch can back there. So that was the thought behind this guard. I just gotta fix that. Hey, I never said it would be perfect. I'll have some kinks to work out. The main thing is if it's gonna work or not, as I just don't know. I'm gonna get all these chips cleaned up so we can make some fresh cuts without a mess and see exactly where they're all going. I don't think it's gonna be perfect by any means, but as long as we can catch the majority of them and keep them from blasting the wall, that's the point. Here we go. First test. I'm gonna just cut 2 or 3 times. I'm gonna throw you guys on slow-mo for one of them, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's do slow-mo. Well, definitely didn't catch it all. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I might have just wasted a lot of time. So the good news is I don't think I'm blasting the wall. So that's number one. But you can see there's chips everywhere, everywhere. Really a lot right there. All behind there, all up there. I mean, we do have a lot of chips inside the catch can, so that's good. But hell, I think a lot of them came in from the side, not even through that hole. And I don't see anything underneath where that hole was. I think they're blasting the back of that and just bouncing back out. It's hard to say. Let's see if there's anything up in here. There's really nothing in there. And I did fix the handle issue. I just removed it because I don't know when I would ever use it anyway. So we're all good now. Yeah, see, the other thing is I don't want, you know, a bunch of chips on top of my electrical box. I don't want it on that bottom starter strip of the steel because it'll just sit there and rust. I do think I'm gonna add like a backsplash that comes up, maybe even with the top of the steel. Just come straight up, just to keep it from going over the back. That probably wasn't worth the time. Yeah. I mean, the thought was there. I think I put plenty of thought into it. I don't think it's going into that hole like it's supposed to. Or I think it is. It's just ricocheting back out. It's a good place to wrap that up. To be honest, I don't even know until I watched that slow-mo if there were any chips hitting the wood wall. I don't think they were. I'd say this is as good of a place to end this as any. Do me a favor, check out all of the Amazon links that I put down there in the comments. Those really do help the channel out. You don't have to buy that particular item. As long as you click that link and it takes you to Amazon and you buy something else, we'll get a small commission for it, and it does go a long way. Doesn't cost you anything extra. If you're in the fabricating business, consider Boss Tables. They are building quality stuff. The software, very easy to navigate through, and you are not gonna beat the tech support and the service that you're gonna get from them. So I'll have links for them also down in the description. That's all I got for this one. Sorry it was a bit of a fail. You know, trial and error. I think ultimately I still have a nice top on there, which I needed no matter what. So that's a plus. We got something done there. The catch system on it. I'm looking forward to hearing you guys' thoughts on that. Anyways, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Oh, I got a chip up there. Didn't catch that one. Another good thing that came of this, we got all the tires on. Next time we work on the spicy dump, I want to get everything cleaned up on this backside. I want to get all of this painted, and we're going to fabricate a new tailgate for it. Once we get done with that, then we can jump on that front clip. Well, that's disappointing. Big waste of time, that's for sure. What if I... Ooh, hello. Is that you or me? Feel the poop coming on, poop coming on. Ooh, I know what I can do. Oh yes, I know what I can do, you dirty little... We're gonna do an update on this one. Wing nuts, slide that forward. That would be even better, because most of them, yeah, most of it's cut off. Can you hear me? I'm gonna look it up right now. Some nothing crazy. Who the is texting me? Damn it! I'm definitely drinking a beer tonight.